lead us in prayer, I feel compelled to deliver a short message of my own. You may have noticed I'm alone today. My beautiful and charming girlfriend, Alicia Wood's, not here. The other day she talked to me and she said, you know, she's a member of the First Baptist Church, and I've been stealing her away every week to show up here. And the other day she talked to me and said, as much as I hate to miss Alan's last lesson in this series about walking across the room, I just have to go back to my church this Sunday because I need to hear a sermon from the preacher that I can understand the words. Now, many of you know that I have another business besides being a boogie-woogie piano player. I have a company that manufactures a specialized microphone for pianos, and most of our customers are churches. And yesterday I was invited to be one of the guest speakers at a seminar. And I wore this little badge here today that they gave me when I showed up there. It's called Church Sound Boot Camp. And there's a man in Dallas who's one of the greatest authorities on church sound systems that runs these boot camps, he calls them. He gets about 100 members of various churches that show up, and they pay money to have him do a 2-day seminar, explain to them how they can make their church sound system work. And they're all volunteers, and a lot of them are not professionals. So this is a really valuable service. And then after I got through delivering my little talk about how to make your piano sound good, then I sat down for the last hour and listened to him talk about some of the work he had done. He talked about a church in Odessa where he went in and sets up his scientific instruments and evaluates how the system works. In a particular place in Odessa, half the sound system didn't work at all. It probably hadn't been on for years, and they didn't even know it till he got there. And then he went in another church where they had speakers in the front and speakers halfway back, and he immediately was able to tell them, if you turn off these speakers halfway back, then everybody will start understanding the words of the sermon. So when the whole thing was over, I went up to him and I said, Kurt, his name is Kurt Typale, and he runs a company called Media Consultants out of Allen, Texas, up by Dallas. I talked to him a little bit about our church and the problems we have. And I said, Kurt, what do you charge to come in and evaluate a church? He said, $18.50. He said, I come in on Saturday morning, spend the whole day. We set up equipment all over the sanctuary, and we can run graphs on our computers and tell exactly what the sound system is delivering or not delivering. And then we spend the day correcting the sound system until it's as good as it can possibly get. And I come back on Sunday and I observe the service and make sure that what we did worked. And then in a couple of weeks, we submit an actual written report about what we found and what we did. Now, I feel like our church has a big problem. If our church was a retail store, then what we're selling is a message. And for a lot of people that come to our church, the shelves in that store some of them are empty. Some customers they're completely devoid of being able to pick up anything in the church, in the store that is our church. And I feel like there is no greater need for our church to address than why people can't understand what the preacher is saying. Now, a lot of you wear hearing aids, or you know somebody that wears a hearing aid. You know that when you go to buy a hearing aid, they don't just say, well, here's a good one, why don't you put this one on? They spend a lot of time analyzing what you're hearing and what you're not hearing before they figure out how to give you the right hearing aid and how to adjust it to make sure it's going to work for you. And that's what needs to happen in a church sound system. I am very committed to the idea of bringing this man in and having him fix the problems in our church. So I made a sign-up sheet. And the sign-up sheet is for pledges. And I put on the top of the line here my name and my phone number, and I pledged $100. If I can find 18 other members of the Delphi class, couples or members, to pledge $100, we can bring this man in and straighten out what's wrong with our church sound system. This could be the greatest gift the Delphi class has ever made to this church. So I'm going to pass this around. I don't want anybody to put any money in the envelope. I don't want anybody to put any checks. If you're into this, put your name down, put your phone number down, and we'll get back together and we'll try to set this thing up.
Has to be $100.
No, it can be anything you want.
Have you asked the church? Has the church been
That was just my
contacted?
example.
Will the church let us do this? Have you asked the church?
No, I haven't talked to the church. We're just going to go to them and say, how would you like a free consultant session? Who's going to turn that down, right? Huh?
They say, oh no, you're gonna mess up our good sound system.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't think they have that much nerve.
Who in the hierarchy needs to be, we wanna be one of the contributors, but who in the hierarchy do you need to clear with so you don't get hard feelings? I mean, are you gonna do diplomatically?
Does anybody else think that's a problem?
No.
We've been here since the 1960s, believe me, it's a problem.
The sound people will.
Need to ask the church first.
Okay, let's get the contributions together, then we'll offer it to the church. If they don't want it, we won't have to collect any checks.
That'll work.
That sounds good.